What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another Beta Memoirs. And today was a chop fest, to say the least. We actually got some selling to the downside. And what is most interesting, coming from Friday into Monday, we had a nice pop on Sunday in when the futures opened. But being said, we came in today, things were up, tech was still struggling, and the market just started selling first thing this morning. A lot of major tech, primarily. Some of the individual stocks, as far as value, are still doing pretty decent for the most part. But your Apples, your Microsofts, really started kind of giving up a little bit, especially towards the end of close. It started really selling, which is not good. I think ultimately tomorrow there'll be more selling going into Wednesday in preparation on what Powell is going to say. We're not going to make all-time highs unless something is leaked. There is nothing going to truly happen with the market as far as to the upside until we know for sure what the time frame is on rate raises and if there'll be rate raises. Powell come back and can try to walk back his statement last time he was talking in the Senate. So it really just depends on what is brought to the table on Wednesday. Again, he is at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that will be interesting to say the least. I think at some point we'll hit a bottom. I know a lot of big tech is currently at support. We'll go through that real quick to show you. But before we get too carried away, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's actually struggling and breaking. This is one thing I was talking about the other day. We didn't want it to break below this 4660 46K mark, essentially. So we're still floating around there. We barely dropped below it, but punched back. As long as we can hover around this 200, which the way inflation is and everything, it will be interesting to see what Powell does. Yes, we know there's going to be rate raises, but ultimately inflation, I think, is going to go away in the longer term. We just don't know when exactly. So being said, it's going to put a damper on Bitcoin. It's going to put a damper on your big tech. And so Wednesday is important for both the market in general as well as cryptocurrency. Tesla, we'll go through some of the big ones here. I don't have a true watch list because of the fact that once we get word from Powell on what the game plan is, we might need overnight digestion on Wednesday night to really determine what's going to happen Thursday. Maybe that power hour close on Wednesday will be extremely important on which way the market starts going. If the market is hesitant, I would definitely wait the overnight session because it could digest and slam to the floor, or digest and rocket to the sky. It is truly a gamble. You won't know if the market it has some mixed feelings about it. So we have to see how power hour will be on Wednesday. But Tesla, the good thing is it's holding this well. This 950 mark, if this breaks, I think Tesla's in for some trouble. I think you could see Tesla start pushing further down to the 800s. But considering that there might be a rally, I think Tesla will hold this 950. As long as it can hold the 950, I think we're good to keep going. But if for some reason we break this because of whatever news comes out with Powell, Tesla is going to possibly see 800 again pretty soon, 850. Once it breaks 900 is the next biggest support. If it does break that, I think you're going to see just briefly tag below that again, depending on what news comes out with Powell. But it's ultimately on how aggressive the Fed will get. He might be very standoffish as far as what he puts out there. He's been very generalized as far as what their plans are because they don't know exactly how everything's playing out. But if the Fed is trying to play catch up, there's actually talks, I think, between 3 different rate raises next year, which could really scare the market. That's probably why we actually started to get some selling today. So that's something to keep in mind. Apple actually started giving up today. As long as it holds this, it's perfectly fine. We don't want to below this 174 mark. Once it starts getting below that, then we could possibly even retest all the way back down to 165. That daily support could very much happen. I think with Apple leading the way, I think we could actually see this pull back pretty hard, possibly tomorrow and Wednesday, determining what's going on, and still be very bullish if it does. The market does turn around. That's what I'm ultimately looking for, is the ones when we start turning around to grab. Google's at a great. It's finally back at the daily support, so that's good to see. As long as it holds that, when the market starts. If tech starts to pick up and start running again, you want to grab one of these. You want, again, this isn't financial advice, but you want to grab Apple, your Tesla, your Google, your Facebook, Amazon, or Shop, one of those FANG stocks that are going to start running, because a lot of these big tech have been beaten down, and they've actually cooled off quite a bit over the past couple of weeks. So that's good to see, because that just means that we could rally even stronger for this Christmas rally. But again, it's very, I'm not saying just because you buy the dip, it's going to go up. After Powell, it could continue to sell off. It really just depends what he says. But that will be the turning point. That will be the last piece of information we need to continue into the Christmas rally. So Shop is another big one. I like to support. I did play a little bit of the bounce. I played this bounce today. I caught the bounce, first bounce. I don't really want it to break below this 1379 mark. Of course, obviously it can. I think 1300 is ultimately a base there if we do start to sell a little bit more. But again, this is all going to depend on how fast, how quickly it gets there. If we're going to continue this bleed off, or if it's just going to slam after that information. Really have to see how the price action is after Powell speaks. Not during the speaks, when he speaks, because it's going to be a lot of volatility. You go back and forth a lot. It's more towards after when he speaks. On Amazon, right back to the 202. So this is what I'm looking for. All these are back to the 200-day moving average, to the 33.39 mark for Amazon. And a lot of the ones that you're looking at now, like your NVIDIA, also at the 50-day support. Another great one to grab if we start turning around. I think chips are actually going to kill it during the next earnings season. So it's really just watching to see what happens on Wednesday and how the market reacts after Powell gets off the horn, essentially on Wednesday. And if the market starts pushing up, or is my thing is, if it's going to be hesitant, you need to be careful, because after, I think that overnight session there'll be a gap down if the market is very hesitant and doesn't know how to take Powell. You have to be very careful Wednesday night, unless you're planning on holding for the long term. But that's pretty much what I got. I just wanted to make this video really brief, because again, it'll be the same tomorrow. We might get more selling tomorrow, but we want to watch and wait and see what's Wednesday. Everybody's waiting on Powell. Everybody's waiting to see what the Fed is going to do before they make a move. That is what we have to do. We have to be patient, wait and watch and see. But if you've made it this far, remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Till next time, I'll see you guys later.